Hi guys, Oskar from MCCruise, just doing a quick overview of an installation of a cruise control on a CB1000R naked. So this is the bike we'll be working on today. Pretty simple kit to fit up. So it's all throttle by wire. So it only needs a computer and a harness, two harnesses attached. We've got to take some panels off, but it's not too bad. Tools for this job, pretty simple. So Phillips head screwdriver, M6 socket head cap screw or Allen key, 10mm ring spanner and a 10mm socket, and a light will help out. There'll be in the kit supplied a little paper clip to be able to help you remove some terminals, or you may need the extraction tool. Hope you enjoy. So removing the key, just need to remove the pin and passenger to start with, so pretty simple. Straight in the key in the lock there, pulling the back of the seat up and removing that seat. Just removing the seat now, so undo the two 10mm hex head bolts here and here, and then simply lift the back of the seat, pull it slightly back, and it will unclip from the front. Next we're removing this little panel around the ignition lock. So there's two socket head cap screws at the top here, and there's 4 clips that need to be removed. So there's one in there, and there's one a little bit lower, and then there's 2 on the exact opposite. And you'll notice how those clips are in there. Very simply, these clips, they look like this, and you basically can push the pin on the inside, and that will release the clip, and then you get your fingernail in behind it and you can pull it out. This is what the little plastic clip looks like after you've removed it. The pin's being pushed in the centre, and that's relieved the pressure and allowed you to take it out. When you're reinserting these clips, just reset that clip by pushing the pin in, and you'll end up with a little pin sticking out here. When you're putting them back into the bike, simply find the hole position that you need to go into. So that's our hole position in there. So you feed the clip back into that hole position. Basically you can hold the head, and you're left with a little pin sticking out. I'll just show you like that. So you've got a little pin sticking out, and then you push the pin in with your finger, hear a little click, and that's what it looks like. So using a 10mm socket, just remove the 2 screws at the front here, and also just loosen off this back screw down here at the back of the tank. That'll just loosen it off, don't take it out, and that'll allow the tank to be able to pivot up, and then you can support it underneath while you're disconnecting the electrical and fuel underneath the tank. So using a bit of timber, about 15 to 18 centimetres long, you can prop the tank up, and that'll allow you access into the connectors that are down underneath the tank and the fuel lines to disconnect. So now that we've got the tank propped up on a bit of timber that I showed before, we need to disconnect the black connector here. One will be the sender and one will be the fuel pump, so that's one of those 2, and the other connector is this one here, this white one here. So just disconnecting that connector and disconnecting that black connector there. As well, we need to just pop around the other side of the bike. We have fuel and vent connections to disconnect. So we've got this high pressure connection to under here. So pressing this white connection and actually pulling it forward, and then pulling the whole connector back, that disconnects the fuel. Then we have a vent, or there's a vent and there's a drain hose. So the hose is just pushed on, it's a bit tight, and the vent at the back there, which has actually got a little clip on it, so you pull that clip down. Then you can drop the tank back down in its position for the next stage. Last step in removing the tank is just removing this bolt down this bottom section here. You've got to hold the nut on the other side there. So just removing that bolt completely, and then picking the tanker up, basically picking it up at the back, pulling it slightly rearward and up, and moving it aside. So to get access to that speed signal connector, I need to remove this cover on the air intake side. So there's a socket head cap screw just on the top here, and then just below, down the bottom here, there's a Phillips head screwdriver as well. So just down in here. So just remove those 2 screws and remove this panel out the way. So to find the connection for the speed sensor, It's in behind this air duct, so you just got to pop that air duct out, and then back in behind that air duct there's a wiring harness package that we need to pull out of the bike. It's pretty free, so but just need to pop that out. So it's pretty simple. Just a couple of clips, one on the top, one on the bottom, and you just wiggle that out. So after removing that air inlet ducting, we need to identify, find and pull out this connector branch in here. So it's a little bit difficult to see, but there's a black shroud over the top of the harness there. We need to be able to pull all that out, and it just simply sort of pops out the top here. There's plenty of lead when you get it out of the bike, and that's where we pick up our speed signal from. And able to fit in the cruise control computer way up here in the ducktail, so it's sitting in there on a couple of Velcro strips. We have a wiring harness that's supplied with the kit. That wiring harness main connector is sitting back here, runs down the right hand side of the bike, so it's through here, through this area here. There will be the switch connector down in this area here, so there'll be a switch wiring harness that's fed down from the handlebar. We've run the wiring just underneath the right hand side of the bike here. This point here we're splitting, so at here we've got 3 wiring harnesses going to the left hand side of the bike and 2 running back up the right hand side. So the 3 running over here are the speed signal, the clutch signal pickup, and the switch harness. On the speed signal harness, we've been able to feed in to the, or pick up the connector. Now there's a connector that's going to be sitting up in the back here. You pull that forward, and this is what it looks like. It's all wrapped up. You just slide this boot back up, and there'll be a number of connectors underneath there. We're looking for this one here, this white one here. We'll disconnect that connector. We'll show you how to depin the pink wire. So that pink wire originally was in this connector. And on the motorcycle cruise control harness, you'll have a blue wire with a blue wire and just a pin. That pin gets pushed back into the original connector, and the pink wire gets pushed into the supplied connector in the kit, and then you make that connection. So then that'll all be nicely tucked back away. I'll show that a little bit later, how that sits back inside the bike. Going back up to the front of the bike, so on that left hand side we're running the switch cable and the clutch cable, so they're running along the side of the frame here, running up through the head stem area, so behind the headlight. So down underneath the head stem, just behind the headlight, we've run the switch and the clutch wiring harness. That then comes up to the switch block. On this installation, we've fitted up the 820 switch block from Motorcycle Cruise on a mirror mount bracket. There'll be some other options available, as well as our slimline. It's a bit tight on this bike, so the preference is to go for this one at the moment. This will be replaced pretty shortly with a 4-button switch panel without the writing. It'll have the symbols on it. Look out for that on the website. So then also we have a connection to the clutch mode here. So just remove the original clutch cable, put this one on connector, and then you fit the original one back on again. So it's all pretty simple. So then running back here onto the right hand side of the bike, we come up to this area, so following that harness back up. So running up the right hand side, we've got 2 harnesses. One is the brake connector, so this is the original brake connector in the bike. You take out, disconnect the black connector from here, and in the kit wiring harness you'll have another brake connector harness, this white connector. So there'll be one connector goes back into the original side here, and the other white connector will go into the original connector from the bike on the other side, and just pop that back inside there. It tucks away nicely and it's held in place. And the last part of the harness comes up this way, comes down right across here, and runs down in this point here. So this is the last connection. This is the throttle position sensor wiring. So again, taking the original connector from the motorcycle, you disconnect it. We'll show how to do that in the instructions, how to depin the connectors and repin the connectors. So there'll be 3 connections made here. So, and then our connectors with the kit will simply connect into the original harness of the bike. And basically that's it. So then it's reinstallation of all the components, which I'll show you just at the end there. This is the completed installation on that CB1000R. We've fitted up the MCCruise 820 switch on this bike. So everything's been set up on this bike. Basically the kit comes with everything. You just plug and play, fit it on and go out and ride. Hope you enjoyed.